All right, welcome to Smokey Approved Korea. I'm your boy journalist, and on this one, we are checking out what are these people's name? You guys told me to check them. Bora City Magazine. This is BTS versus the radio. I would like to firstly say I was unaware that the Army was so educated on how bundling works for Billboard. That was not my only particular point, but I now know that I need to at least do a little bit more research on how sales have been done for BTS before I can make another statement on my steroid era because I still firmly feel I'm correct and everybody fucking uses steroids flat out. I don't care. The system is the system. I will explain more later after I actually do more research, but until then, I still hold my position, but I understand that you guys do not believe that BTS is using steroids, and I just feel differently. Do they bundle like everybody else? No. They can have physical sales. They're still participating in steroids. But that's neither here nor there. I want to learn. I just would like to express that I do understand that you guys are very passionate and hold these people very tightly to yourselves. So when I say this, it is not to disregard the hard work they do. It's just a fact of the system, and I will explain later once I've learned more about these boys. That said, let's get into this one and see what they can teach me today about these boys. Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining me. Please hit that like, subscribe. Patreon is currently available if you would like to. We have W or Two Worlds is over there. I just watched the first episode of The Extraordinary Attorney Woo. That's pretty good. So if you want to see some of those Korean TV shows or anything like that, please tap into the Patreon. And we do have some exclusive BTS content over there currently right now, or early access available too. So that said, let's get into this.
In 2017, BTS realized that they were not only the biggest artists in South Korea, but they also had a chance to be recognized in the Western music industry. That year, they were nominated to their first big American award, the Billboard Music Awards. They attended the ceremony and got their first Top Social Artist Award. So what was next? The biggest artists in the United States have at least one of these three things under their belts: streams, sales, and radio play. These three things are the only criteria to get a #1 single in music charts, including the Billboard charts, the biggest one in the music industry. This is why BTS went to many radio stations, had a lot of interviews, and gifted their latest album You Never Walk Alone to radio DJs. Armies got the message. Radio is important. So we requested BTS songs on every radio station we could, and if we saw that BTS was going to be interviewed on one, we sent them flowers, chocolates, and letters, thanking them for giving this opportunity to BTS.
Your army sent.
If I don't learn anything else, I want to figure out how to get not the army itself, but whatever fans I do have to find out that I got a radio show interview or an interview somewhere and to send flower cards and candy to the fucking radio people for the opportunity of interview. Like, that's some mad. Shout out to you folks. That's crazy.
Us flowers. Oh, really? To thank us for having you on.
And that has never happened before with any other artist.
No,
However,
it
as
doesn't.
time passed, the radio spins never came, and the albums BTS gifted to radio stations were found unopened in garage sales. So why were gifted to radio stations were found unopened in garage sales? So why were radios massively tweeting about BTS and inviting them to their shows if they never intended to play their songs, even when they became the most
Visibility,
requested
baby.
artist on radio? Believe it or not, many radio DJs dislike BTS because they cannot profit from their success like they can from other musical acts. The only thing they can do is increase their radio's social media engagement.
I want to see your techniques, okay, for taking a selfie. Can we put all these on our website and let people maybe they can vote for who's got the best technique?
And radio is able to directly profit from playing certain songs because of an illegal practice called payola. Payola, also known as the illegal version of pay-for-play, happens when an artist's record label pays radio to play their songs over and over again without disclosing the fact that the radio spins were paid. This way, these most radio spins can count towards music charts like the Billboard Hot 100. It is basically bribing radio stations to play a song. This practice is illegal and it was banned from radio stations. However, in 2020, Rolling Stones magazine exposed more than 2,500 text messages involving Steve Sapp, a radio promoter with a number of radio stations. The messages reveal conversations between Sapp and multiple major label executives, where they arranged multiple payola agreements. This led to an investigation targeting the Recording Industry Association of America, record labels, and streaming services, as well as a lawsuit that later revealed that Sapp received more than 130 payments totaling over $300,000. And this is only one case of one independent radio promoter, which involved only 3 radio stations in the adult contemporary format.
So this is the sloppy version of payola, is what I would like to say that is exactly what this young lady is covering. It's very sloppy. And you got to think, with all the money that is in the music industry, to be sloppy for $300K, you're just a sloppy cunt. That guy Zapp is an asshole. However, the way the payola currently works in the industry is I just fund whatever big concerts you have. So like Hot 97 will get a marketing budget from, we'll say, Sony Records. And Sony Records will give them $250,000. Now that $250,000 is supposed to be for marketing for Hot 97 Summer Jam or for their Christmas specials. But we know the executive that's cutting the check to Hot 97 and the radio person, we know that that's actually payola for you to play my artist record. And this is where we have the clean payola. It's still payola because I'm giving you money as a record label to a radio station for marketing. But that doesn't make sense. Like it should be illegal. You should not be able to do that. But that's currently the clean way, and technically it's still legal to do because I'm giving you money to market a show and a concert, but it's still payola because you're not only going to spin my artist record that entire time until that concert comes up, you're going to have my artist headline that fucking concert as well. So it's a shitty system. I'm definitely in line with her exposing the sloppy payola and people getting caught. But the payola that's making this whole fucking system work as far as radio goes, it's marketing budgets given for concerts or promotional efforts. And that's where they're really hiding and washing most of the money.
Bay Area's KREV, Palm Springs KRCK, and Las Vegas KFRH. Agreements with major labels are believed to be multi-million-dollar settlements, just like it was shown in a 2004 investigation. And I just want to clarify that the artists themselves allegedly did not have anything to do with these agreements. The text messages show no evidence that any artists were communicating with Sapp.
I would agree that unless you're an independent artist, and I mean like a proper independent, then you would have no actual interaction with payola, nor would you even understand that that's happening for your benefit. Or if you did know, like a Taylor Swift is not stupid. She knows that somebody's paying payola on her behalf, but is she participating in direct payments? Is she picking which radio stations are the ones that she wants payola paid to? No. But when you know you're the top 3 to 5 artists on a roster at a major record label, you know for fucking sure, if you know how the industry is working behind closed doors, some cunt at your record label is paying these radio stations extra marketing money on your behalf. And then they're recouping that money in various ways from you, depending on how shitty your 360 deal is. Like, Drake knows somebody's paying payola, but is Drake participating in the payola? No, he's not. It's plausible deniability. That is definitely what these top artists are definitely running around with. But you can't be fucking at the top and not understand that this shit is happening.
Only their labels. So who does payola? Panic at the Disco's radio promoter sent an urgent text to Sapp when the group's spins decreased, saying, "I just did a 2,000 deal with you. I need Panic back up." Sapp texted a station employee, "Any way to move 5 seconds of summer to Superpower till Saturday? I will get a great promo for you." Another text,
because I know how much money is in the fucking industry. This is how I know Zap is a fucking leech. For $2,000, I'm out here breaking the system of music and forcing music down people's throat. Fuck that. I'm not doing shit for less than 25K cuss. Like, I need real numbers. Numbers that'll change my life. Imagine blowing your life up for $2,000. For $2,000, you blow your life up. It's ridiculous. It's like the homie being like, let's go rob somebody for $100. I'm going to get a job, blood. I'm going to go do something else. That's not enough money for me to risk my freedom.
Summer to Superpower till Saturday, I will get a great promo for you. Another text says, can we do Flora Cash and Khaled? Promise them 35 spins each. We'll cover that cash giveaway. When one station increased the number of plays of a single by LSD, the Columbia Records trio by Labyrinth, Sia, and Diplo, Sap wrote, I just got you a 1,000 promo through Columbia. Tell me what you need for stations. They will cover. Another text said,
This motherfucker is a fucking snake. $1,000? Oh my God.
This week, kill Panic and Ed Sheeran and put Sean Superpower.
These numbers piss me off because now that I know how, I'm probably going to get attacked for a couple of my statements in this video. Perfectly fine. I respect it. You guys love these boys. My only thing is, if I was to give the army the opportunity to send money directly to effectuate BTS's radio spins, the amount of money that would pour in is astronomical. So how dare you break the system for $1,000, $2,000? Blood, what are you doing?
For number 1, Republic sweating me already. Another text said, can we pull down Jonas Brothers Sucker, helping Pink go number 1? Apart from Panic at the Disco, 5 Seconds of Summer, Flora Cash, Khaled, Labyrinth, Sia, Diplo, Shawn Mendes, and Pink, other artists according to the text include Dua Lipa, the Jonas Brothers, the Backstreet Boys, Ellie Goulding, Dean Lewis, Maren Morris, Marshmello, Halsey, Ed Sheeran, and other artists associated with Warner Music, Sony Music, Universal Music, Columbia Records, and Republic Records. The messages also reveal that the problem does not only rely on record labels willingly paying for radio plays, but also radio stations extorting record labels. Sap wrote on a text message, I'm going to make Patty beg for increase, when talking about spins for a Louis Capaldi song. So how did he allegedly extort record labels?
If you don't know who Louis Capaldi is, that boy voice is gold. Go listen to some Louis Capaldi. I promise you, if you guys like BTS, you will like the things that Louis Capaldi sings about. He has very emotive lyrics, and they are very open and honest. I've really enjoyed finding Louis Capaldi. I guess last year. I didn't know who he was until last year. But the music I've heard from that boy is cold.
For example, Green Day's lead singer Billie Joe Armstrong released a cover of I Think We're Alone Now, which gained organic popularity and started climbing radio charts in 2020, since it offered a small measure of comfort to a pandemic-stricken world. However, it seems like his record label was not interested in actively promoting the song, so Steve Sapp texted an employee at a radio station to reduce the song's spins as a way of forcing them to pay. He wrote, I hate to do this, but Billie Joe needs to go down. They, the record label, said they aren't working on it and not paying bills. If we take down, let's see if they are all of the sudden working on it. But this tactic, or I would say extortion, didn't work out. Sapp then wrote, Billie Joe down, and they never paid a dime. So when BTS were first invited to US radio stations in 2017, they were happily welcomed and had some pretty nice interviews. But I really don't think it's a coincidence that after some time, the same radio DJs that were interviewing them and being nice to them changed their attitudes towards them. If we can learn anything from this Sapp lawsuit, is that during these days, a Beulah agreement had to be made, but BTS and Big Hit refused. So radio stations turned their back on them, just like they did with Billie Joe Armstrong.
Respect. I respect that. I do highly respect the fact that they had the opportunity to pay for payola, and they was like, fuck you, man. I'm not doing that shit. I do respect that.
Now, you may think that radios refuse to play BTS songs because they are in Korean, and that is definitely part of the problem. However,
It's 95% of your problem. If payola did not exist, I promise you, you are not getting on American radio unless it is a song like Selena had that was in Spanish, unless you have a song that truly transcends like language barriers and everything. And I'm sorry, the way that I have seen this work in my country until forever, unless you make it directly for the American music market, we will do everything we can to keep you out. That is just how the market is set up. We cannot compete on the world stage fairly when it comes to music because we don't have enough people working that hard to actually compete. And you guys outside the US are working so hard to get in that the craftsmanship and the artistry is at such a high level that if I was to just let you in, I'd have to make laws like France, where 30% of the music that is on the radio has to be an American artist because there's so much fucking talent outside of America. Like, example, Estelle, American boy, on the radio every day, forever. What other song is playing from Estelle in America? Nothing, because she tried to use her music that she normally does after American Boy. It was like, what's this? This ain't for us. Take your ass back home. Look at the way Adele patterns her albums. She patterns them specifically for an American audience, and then it just goes crazy in the rest of the world. But she still sneaks in a little bit of that UK, like Chasing Pavements. I don't know what the fuck a pavement is. I know the word, but what the fuck's a pavement? I'd never call a sidewalk that. But she has that song called Chasing Pavements, plays in America. Why? Because it sounds like it's for my market, but she's calling it something so people know from where she's from that she's still representing. You have to build the music for my market. Otherwise, it's not working. Louis Fonsi and the whole Despacito record, it was cool. I heard it without Justin first. I heard the version with Justin on the radio, though, and that's the only version I hear on the radio. So this is where I'm like, 95% of the music that you make, if it has a foreign language background or comes from outside the United States, we're just locking it off. We're not letting you in. It's a very small group of songs that break through, regardless of where they come from. That's just currently how it is. Should it be like that? No, but that's just how it is.
However, even with their massive promoted English singles, they don't get the same crazy amount of plays as other smaller English songs. And when they do get radio play, because of the massive success of the songs, radios only give them 1 or 2 spins during daytime, and some more spins between midnight and 6 a.m. so they can have the least amount of listeners they can. This is part of their extortion, allegedly. Just compare Dynamite or Butter to the Shawn Mendes case shown in Sapp's text messages. Sapp wrote that Republic Records was paying for Shawn's single If I Can Have.
Canadian artists don't count. They don't count. They have the same hard time breaking into America as anybody else. We'll look at Jessie Reyez. She's still having to struggle. Shawn Mendes still struggling. Is he very well known here? Yes. Drake is like the anomaly. Like Celine Dion is the anomaly. Like just because they're Canadian and white does not mean that they're making it over here as easy as anybody else.
You to rise to number 1. Sapp wrote, "This week, Kill Panic and Ed Sheeran and put Shawn's Superpower for number 1. Republic's sweating me already." Then the station told Sapp that Shawn's single was set to play every half hour. But then Sapp fired off another text saying, "It is too close and we haven't jumped Ed yet. After 8 p.m, can we do every 15 minutes? No one will even notice. No one listens to the radio unless in a car." And apparently, playing the Shawn Mendes song every 15 minutes worked, because that week, Mendes leapfrogged Sheeran on the media-based chart and hit number 1.
That's a goddamn lie.
Sapp did say one right thing: no one listens to the radio unless in a car. And this is only when people don't have the chance to connect their streaming service to the car. Radio is dying. So why do music charts consider radio spins as important as sales and streams? The songs on radio are not the songs that the general public likes. They are the songs that the general public is forced to like. It is impossible for a song to be an organic radio hit when it's played every 15 minutes. The Billboard Hot 100 and the other music charts should stop treating radio numbers as a metric for a song's success. But of course, they won't stop treating radio numbers. The Billboard Hot 100 and the other music charts should stop treating radio numbers as a metric for a song's success.
Then we would need brand new charts completely, because those charts that were initially developed for radio is exactly why I still say we're in a steroids era, is because coupled with the shitty way that we do allocate and nobody listens to really radio for real like that, those charts were for radio plays and radio plays only. And then other formats of music listening became popular. So then they had to figure out a way to account for CD sales, and then they had to account for vinyls, and then they had to account for tapes, and it's just always a new format. So this is why I say we're in a steroids era, because not only are they allocating for streaming and everything else now, but it's the interconnectivity that these artists in today's time have that other artists from prior eras did not have. And that's why I'm saying it's steroids, is because you have the ability to, even if it is just physical sales, you have the ability to reach out and touch more people and have them more interconnected to what you're doing to effectuate a physical sale, versus Michael Jackson when he put out fucking Pretty Young Thing, or when Stevie Wonder fucking did a Songs in the Key of Life. That album went platinum a year before it even came out on pre-sales. How easy would that be for BTS to do, to offer pre-sales for an album that's not coming out for a year? It would go platinum in 24 hours. There's enough of you guys to do it. How hard was that for Stevie Wonder to do back in the fucking 60s and 70s? This is why I'm saying it is a steroids era, and it's just what it is in today's time. Does that mean that these people are doing less work? No. But it does mean that the job is a little bit easier, and we have to be honest about that, because it's true. I've got a cell phone. Stevie and the man didn't have cell phones. So then to use records and stuff from their time period and be like, but they're on the same playing field, it's like, that's not fair, cuz. It's not fair. It's not even actually true. Like, there's a level of intellectual dishonesty happening when you want to compare things from different eras, when the metrics for both eras are not the same. It's kind of like in sports when people are like, oh, well, could LeBron James play in the same era as Michael Jordan? It's like, sure, it's basketball. Of course he could play. But the metrics aren't the same. It's not the same rules. It's not the same, like, hoop. It's not the hoop's not at the same height. Like, there's so many things that have changed that, like, the floor they play on, literally, the wood these men run across is not the same as the one that Michael Jordan and that man was running across. So it's not fair to compare, versus we can easily compare. And that's why I'm just like, again, I'm not taking anything away from these boys, but they play in an era where they have a lot more tools than anybody else. Are they using the tools with ethical, I guess, like, rubrics, and, like, trying to do this in the best ways possible and not be scumbags like everybody else? Totally. But they have access to tools that other people didn't have prior to them. And the things that they're doing now, they're just standing on the shoulders of other people. Are they the first from where they come from doing it as big as they are? Surely. They are the biggest giants to do so. But the things they're using to get to becoming the biggest giants, a lot of people didn't have before them. And that's why I'm like, you have to make the delineation between the two.
Of course, they won't stop. The music industry is an extremely corrupt system, and they don't care if BTS has more fans actually buying and streaming their music. If they don't pay for radio, their number ones will be taken away. They don't care that BTS is the artist that sells the most records in the world. The music industry has brainwashed music fans into thinking that the general public's approval is better than a loyal fanbase, because that is organic success. When it's been proven time and time again that the general public's opinion is forced into them by music labels, shameful campaigns, and strategies. And your favorite artist, no matter who it is or will be hurt by this, because the general public only listens to what they're supposed to listen to, and then they move on and forget. Artists do care about views, likes, plays, and streams, because it means that people are listening to their music and watching them perform. Those who say their favorite artists don't care about views or charts are just deluding themselves.
I know for a fact that if BTS never was on another chart or ever had another YouTube video view or wherever you could view a video from, BTS would still be putting records out. They'd still be sending music out to their fans because it's. Do you guys know a band named Hanson? They're from the 90s. They had a song called Mbop. People thought Hanson fell off. Hanson figured out what BTS is now doing. They have probably one of the strongest mailing lists in the music industry. Those men do a show, that show sells out in like a couple hours, just like BTS can sell a show out in an arena in a couple hours. Why? Because they have a connection with their fans. Having an organic fan base that you can reach into and extract money from, and these people are happy to pay it. I'd rather have that a million times over than, oh, I'm on the radio every 15 minutes. Who the fuck cares? You can't sell a show. Versus these men can't not sell a show. BTS can't say they're going to do a show anywhere and it not sell out. Or the fact that you guys give me the J-Hope Lollapalooza stuff and you're like, yo, everybody else, how long this been going on? I'm not fucking with my man. 100,000 in ticket sales. What are you talking about? I'm like, God damn.
Artists want what BTS has, whether they admit it or not.
The BTS, they're massive. I want that social following. Me and Shawn Mendes are like, how do we get this type of fan
You're
base?
too plastic, you dickhead. That's why you don't have it.
BTS and their label Big Hit always shared a message of honesty through music, and they refused to give up these values for a number one, even though this is something that every artist wants, including BTS themselves.
What's kind of something else that you'd like to accomplish this year?
Billboard Hot 10.
When BTS were rejected by radio in 2017, ARMYs assumed that it was because their songs are in Korean and nothing else. And I don't personally know BTS, but maybe they thought this too. However, when they released Dynamite in 2020, something happened. BTS had a lot of interviews for radio stations again. They even had a bus where radio DJs could listen to Dynamite before the release date. They repeated this promotion for the release of Butter.
BTS is sending tour buses around the country to different radio stations with Butter on it. They're playing it, but we're getting a chance to hear it before anybody else.
ARMY's hopes were up because these are songs in English, and this type of promotion worked to a certain extent. Compared to their Korean songs, BTS were gaining significant radio play for the first time. But even in the best case scenario, the radio spins were not nearly as massive as other artists who had songs way less popular than Dynamite or Butter. Maybe it's because they didn't do what they were had.
Let me see. I'm just be honest. Dynamite it was not fucking with WAP that year. Like WAP was one of the biggest songs. Like without radio, like WAP was so big in America. Yeah, I see them smoking What's Poppin'. But but now What's Poppin' was like, it was very popular. Like again, in America, What's Poppin' was so big that it got put inside of Call of Duty, the video game. Like I remember distinctly rolling around for like the past year and a half just playing What's Poppin' in my car while I'm like playing Call of Duty. Like when I say my car, I mean like the car you can drive in Call of Duty. That radio will play What's Poppin'. I remember I used to play that song specifically. So that song was very big. I could see why the radio play might be that high for that one, because that record was ridiculous. Yeah, nah. The rest of these, that's what payola looks like, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. WAP is the only one I can like actively say that like, nah. That like, I don't give a fuck what they did that year. They were not fucking with that record.
Songs way less popular than Dynamite or Butter. Maybe it's because they didn't do what they were expected to do, which is pay their way to number one. And even before the release of their English singles, BTS expressed that they hate these chart manipulation tactics, and that even though they had multiple wrongful opportunities to jump to number one, they refused to do so.
부정적인 방법도 좋지만 조금 더 정직한 방법으로
Talk that shit,
좋은
brother.
음악을 만드는 게 어떨까요? 모두 다 좋은 음악을 하고 좋은 음악을 듣는 그런 시대가 왔으면 좋겠습니다.
I'm sorry, bro. End of the day, I want to live in that same exact world. The capitalistic dickheads are out here, and they know how much money is available in the music industry. I don't see the world where we get to where there's enough artists who do not work with shitty capitalistic people that make it to where we don't have a shitty system like we do now. Because that's the other half of it. If we remove every capitalistic person, there's not enough of us that want to work honestly with music to achieve the success that we can through music without using those shitty rules and bad people and bad acts to make our music go further. Because that's why you have very popular artists that come out of nowhere that do real gimmicky things, like we'll say like a Tekashi 6ix9ine and stuff like that. Like there's people that will just make a gimmick to blow up very quickly so they can then take as much success or enough financial we'll say success from the music industry. So it's not just the capitalistic side of it, it's also the artists that we allow to participate, because people just like a spectacle. And this, at the end of the day, before it's music, it's entertainment. It is entertainment before people even hear the music. And people will look at something far more entertaining before they listen to the heartfelt stuff or the real music makers.
It's a pretty
No, they
common
don't.
thing for BTS and other
No, they
artists to
fucking don't.
invite radio DJs to their concerts and give them their albums so they can get to
They
know
should
them
stop
as
that.
artists. Because radio DJs are supposed to be interested in music. Radio DJs were first supposed to share the songs they liked on their radio shows because they
even
were
how it
supposed to
works.
be music lovers. They were even considered music experts, but they
No, they're
aren't.
not.
They do zero research before interviewing them. They ask them the same repetitive questions. And when armies talk about their music, they cut them to ask who their favorite member is.
I like how they're really talented and
All right, so a thing I feel like she's not going to cover with these radio stations and why they're not staffed by real music experts like it used to happen back in the day is because of a buying spree and a monopoly that happened in 2012, 2000, from 2009 to 2013. There was a spree of purchases that happened by a company called Clear Channel, and then iHeartRadio saw what Clear Channel was doing and bought up the remainder. So now there's only free radio, and what I mean by free radio is just not owned by a multinational conglomerate. You have Clear Channel, and then you have iHeartRadio. Because it is set up like this, 85%, just a rough number, it's not an actual number, but like 85% of all radio stations are owned and operated by two separate business entities. And these entities have some guy, we'll say in like Topeka, Kansas. He wakes up in the morning, comes up with 50 artists he likes, and then he sends that across the entire United States. And those are the songs that get played. This is why, as a radio station DJ in America, why would I do research? I got the job. It's like I'm a paper pusher at this point. The actual job of music discovery and dissemination to the public and having a good ear and being able to pick good music, it's no longer the job. The job is simply learn how to use radio equipment and press play, and then be able to have some charisma because it's drive time. So I need people not to turn the dial off because I'm charging for advertising. Like, that's the business of radio now in America. It's no longer musical discovery and dissemination to the public.
they're very inspiring. Like all their songs, I love them.
But Sabrina, let's just cut to the important. Who do you have the biggest crush on?
They would rather tweet nonsense about BTS's looks, hair, or outfits to gain some likes. They even make fun of armies, implying we are obsessive by doing things like this. Me running to stay at BTS Airbnb so I can smell B's pillow. Or these other to stay.
Can we as army members just be honest that there is at least a 1% portion of the army that for sure would do this stuff? Like, can we just be honest about this? Because it's not even just army people. I know people that listen to Green Day that would do this. I know people that listen to fucking Led Zeppelin. It doesn't matter. There is a contingent of every fan base that is super toxic that does weird shit like this. Can we admit these people exist at least? Now, is that the greater group of you all? Definitely not. Most of every person that I've talked to in the comment sections and all the comments I've read from you guys, it is a true passion for the music that these people make and the messages that they have in the music. It has nothing to do with, we'll say, an obsessive nature to try and smell somebody's pillow and be weird. But I for sure know there's somebody in the army with enough money that would happily rent a fucking Airbnb right after BTS to go and smell the pillow V was sleeping on. I know that person exists.
stay at BTS Airbnb so I can smell B's pillow. Or this other guy called Psych, who is the most immature radio host in history. He tweeted, "We have BTS hair, people," and showed a video of BTS's hair, according to him. ARMYs responded that it was weird for him to film that and that was so embarrassing for him. He then said that it was just a joke and that he was making fun of crazy fan bases. When ARMYs didn't buy it and decided to stay away from him and not watch the interview, he said that we were not true fans because true fans would watch anything and everything when it comes to their favorite group. He also responded,
That is the one thing I do have to say I do respect a lot for the Army is y'all not playing that fuck shit. Y'all are not doing no sucker shit. Y'all are not doing no thirsty shit. It is only honest and respectful takes are the only ones that you guys are like really like, all right, we'll check that out. Otherwise, I guess you guys have been educated in a way that other fan bases have not, due to you guys wanting to get them in a better position, we'll say within the music industry, that you guys see a lot of tricks that the industry uses to get people to do something, and y'all are like, nah, not us. It's not happening. Matter of fact, I will forego seeing something from my favorite person just to make sure I don't see that thing that they did with you, because I don't respect how you've done that thing with my favorite person. And I'm like, finally, why can't the rest of people that listen to music act like y'all? Because that's would help when people know they can't just do no sucker shit to gain notoriety or to get visibility. I then think we could move closer to the world that we'd like to see, where people just make music with an ethical nature.
non-stop to every ARMY he could, and then said that everyone was just jealous of him. He tweeted, "Well, I spoke the truth. I met them. Some of you didn't. Is that not true? You don't think die-hard fans are jealous of people that meet BTS?"
Nope.
Another tweet said, "It must kill you to know that you'll never meet BTS, and I've met them twice in less than a year. Also, be careful with talking about snapping necks. Violent threats are not typically acceptable on social media." Of course, making himself the victim. When the interview was released, the guys didn't seem very comfortable with him, even when the interview was before any of this happened.
These fans, you guys know, they're pretty insane.
Hey, like, who you talking about? Not my people.
These radio DJs think this is what we want, when the only thing we're asking for is for them to learn a little about their music. But they don't even listen to their songs. Mario Lopez interviewed
That's
them
crazy.
without even knowing that they dance. And I'm pretty sure he didn't listen to a single BTS song before this interview.
What do you have planned for the concerts? Do you guys like to dance at your shows? Do you do a lot of dancing?
Yeah, of course.
So yes, dancing
yes.
in the shows. What else could we look forward to?
And despite being invited, radio DJs don't go to their concerts
boy
because
Benny
they simply
Blanco.
don't care.
You guys ever been to a BTS show?
And it didn't matter how big they got. At this point, the fact that none of them have gone to their concerts, at least out of curiosity, shows their bitterness. They don't get any benefits from their success.
It's not a bitterness. It's Clear Channel and iHeartRadio. Those are your biggest issues when it comes to radio play in America. I, as a radio host, I love music. I'm not going to anybody's concert. I don't care. It could be anybody. I get paid regardless. I'm not going to your concert. It doesn't make me more money. It doesn't cost me more money. Like, the relationship that she's speaking on is not technically how it works actually. So this is why I'm like, like, it's not a lack of care. It's like, it's not even a lack of care. I don't have to, like, at all. Like, it's just not necessary. So, like, even if they give tickets to the radio host, that guy doesn't discover music. He doesn't even get to choose what the playlist is. Like I say, he's just a monkey pushing a button. Like, why would I go to a concert? Like, I don't get to, like, say I fall in love with BTS as a radio DJ. I don't get to put their music in rotation. Some other guy gives me a playlist, and I have to play that. I don't get to change it. So this is why I'm like, it's not that black and white when it comes to them just like, oh, well, we're not getting nothing from them boys, so we're not going to get it. We're not going to do anything. It's not that simple.
so they don't want BTS to succeed. The radio DJ Big Ray, one of the only ones who openly supports BTS, revealed that radio DJs would talk bad about BTS on a private Facebook group. He tweeted, "There's a Facebook group for radio people, and today they were basically shading BTS pretty hard. Mind you, I've been a pretty active supporter of BTS for a while, but I never thought I would get that upset over a Facebook post. These radio DJs who talk bad about BTS in private are the same ones who have the audacity to tell armies, well, maybe you should be nice to DJs, ignoring all the thank you gifts and nice messages we send them. These guys."
They say this also because they are not the people that choose the music they play. I want you to know this. Unless the DJ is playing at 11 o'clock at night, the shitty hours on the radio, they're not deciding the songs that fucking play. So the guy who's like, oh, the guy who did the bad interviews, like, oh, well, at least I got to see BTS, or fucking, I call him Slater. I can't remember his name. Mario Lopez. Like, Mario Lopez does not choose what the fuck they're playing. Like, somebody's telling him what to play. So these radio DJs that have a face that don't make a decision. The old man Ebro, he does not choose what they play on Hot 97. It does not happen. But the guys like LA Leakers, when they play from like 10 o'clock at night on Power 106 in LA till fucking 4 o'clock in the morning, they're actually choosing the records that play. But who's listening to the radio from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m.? Nobody. That's why they have the choice. Because the advertisers are happy to pay a reduced rate next to songs that people may listen to. But that's it.
Guys from SiriusXM even pretended they were the ones who bought these cupcakes for BTS, when it was armies who bought them for them to play their music.
We have a little something to give to you guys in celebration.
We brought you cupcakes. Cupcakes.
The cupcakes even have the logo of the fanbase who sent them, which is slightly different from the official.
The disrespect to try and pass off my own fan base's shit back to me when they sent it to you, you ungrateful fucks. This is why I hate the fucking commercial music industry. This is exactly why I'm trying to do things on my own and not just stay in LA. Because the artificial nature of these scenarios are the things that why I would get kicked out of fucking recording sessions. Because when people start doing artificial shit around me, I'm just like, that guy's a dickhead. We should tell him about himself. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell him. And they're like, oh, you're making us uncomfortable. You all should be uncomfortable fucking participating in some bullshit. That's the shit that's wrong. That's why I'm like, what? I can't believe they did this. This is ridiculous.
Army logo. And even worse, a DJ called Dave from 103.3 AMP radio from Boston said that armies were trying to poison him with the cupcakes they sent to the station as a thank you gift. He then said that it was just a joke because he always says that armies are annoying, and then he manifested that BTS will break up because he believes in manifestation. So don't say armies.
I am a very big proponent of a group gonna break up. BTS has done a thing that I have never seen. Why would we break up? Unless one of these guys sleeps with another one of these guys. I don't know who likes a boy or not. Statistically, somebody in that group likes a boy. That's not my point, though. Unless you sleep with somebody else's significant other and blatantly disrespect them, I don't see any time in the world BTS breaks up. Because why would I? It's not necessary. If I want to go make a project and express myself in an individual nature, we got space for that. Go make that album, young man, but come back to us. So then if I can do that, plus I like everybody I'm working with, plus I like the stuff we get to do for BTS, and I don't have to do anything fake or artificial, what scenario comes about where I want to break this up? It doesn't make sense ever. I've never seen a scenario like this. So this is why I'm like, I don't see these boys breaking up. Like, ever. For what purpose, outside of somebody sleeping with somebody else's significant other, is BTS going to break up? That's the only scenario. Because nobody's upset about the money divisions. So I don't see any problems coming up unless... And I don't even see that happening. Because at this point, RM could have a big head. Fucking V could have a big head. Fucking Handsome Worldwide could have a big head. Like, oh, what's my nigga name? June Cook, I believe is his name. JK. I'm going to just say that. He could have a big head. Fuck it. Sugar could turn into an asshole. They'd still probably work together. Like, I just don't see it. I don't.
should try being nicer to radio DJs. We've been nice enough. Radios need to stop pretending that what gets played on the radio is ever dictated by a fandom's relationship with a radio
Facts.
DJ. They don't care about the most requested song or artist. They care about money. In conclusion, I don't think
Again, they don't care about your money at all. Not one fucking bit. Because our radio in America it's been monopolized, but it's not completely owned by one person, so it's not a real monopoly. So we don't have any antitrust laws to break this up to make radio more free. That is why it is not really based on money, because the money that you could give is not the money I want. Because you're trying to, that's why oh boy was doing things for $1,000 or $2,000, because that's $1,000 or $2,000 directly to me. The money that a radio station is making, it's not off the fucking music. It's not off the money that they slide in on promotional marketing efforts. It's the advertising money. Until you're paying advertising budgets, that's when we will start playing the music you want us to play, because that's who's deciding what songs they want us to play. If I'm, guys probably don't know who it is, but let's say it's fucking Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola wants to do a radio advert. They're going to decide whose song plays before and after that advert, because I don't want my music associated with Kodak Black and fucking Drake. I want my music associated with, or my drink associated with Katy Perry and Taylor Swift and Beyonce. Unless you're putting my stuff right there, you can't have my Coca-Cola advertising money. It's advertising money that has broken radio, and that's why it's not the money that they think they can get from BTS, because that's not how it works in America. It's truly advertising is what has fucked it up, and a monopolization between Clear Channel and iHeartRadio that has really destroyed radio and being able to discover music off of radio.
we should blame BTS or Big Hit, a Korean company, for not bribing radio DJs. They are not the problem. Radio is. This person tweeted, "Payola is illegal. Do you really want our guys or their company to do that? You do realize that they would take the money but then give another white or at least American artist more spins so they can't top the charts?"
No, and they are correct. It would be another white or American artist who gets the spins, because you're not fucking paying my advertising money. You just gave me money to play a record. I'm not calling you guys dumbasses, but whoever pays that money from an outside like country person, like, oh, say I'm from fucking Spain and I'm trying to get a fucking Spanish record on there. You're a dumbass. You just gave me money. Like, and I can tell you, fuck you. Like, I don't have to play the record. But if you're an advertiser, like I said, my Coca-Cola example, I can't tell Coca-Cola fuck them. Coca-Cola's fucking massive. Coca-Cola got real fucking money. If they take their advertising budget away from my radio station, that's where I lose money. That's where I begin to feel the hurt. Oh, fucking some Spanish record label gave me some money to play some Spanish artist record. Who the fuck are you? My thing still spins without you giving me any money after this. Like, it doesn't matter. I can burn that bridge. I can't burn the bridge with Coca-Cola. That's what keeps my lights on. That's why I'm trying to get you guys to understand that, like, the radio in America is broken.
The music industry is one of the most corrupt systems marred with systemic racism and xenophobia. There is no winning this other than what we're doing for years, showing them that we will succeed anyways. In 2017, BTS and ARMYs were so excited and full of hope, without realizing how dirty the Western music industry is.
디오라는 곳을 넘기가 굉장히 어려우니까 팬분들이 DJ들한테 꽃다발도 보내고 여기 현지 에이전시사에서도 되게 노력 많이 하고 그런 일들.
We learned by experience.
Stop sending those radio DJs anything. Please. Please. Don't do it. Do not fucking do it anymore. Stop it. Like, put all that money together for an advertising budget. And I guarantee you'll have a conversation about what songs do you want to be played around? What time of day do you want to be played on? How many spins are you looking to be associated with? You'll have the actual conversation. And this is technically not payola, but it's still payola. But that's where the fucking conversation needs to be moved to. Stop doing nice things for the radio DJs. They're the fucking worst people, because they hold the veil up of superiority, and we all know that's bullshit.
And it looks like now BTS lost respect for the industry they admire at some point.
The name
yeah.
is really
It's called
huge
Apathy
for us.
Blood.
We've been listening to Billboard like since we were like 8.
They are literally the biggest artists in the world right now, but they have experienced disappointment after disappointment. They didn't even promote their new singles in America like they used to. Left and right, bad decisions, Jack in the Box, and yet to come. Only have some calm interviews intended for only armies to watch. They have more personal content and projects. Basically the same as before, but without the awkward interviews with people from the media. This is why BTS
folks.
can only rely on armies, and that is a good thing. Other artists may be in the constant fear of being forgotten by the general public, unless they pay, of course. So don't let others make you believe that BTS's number ones were inorganic, because they are the only ones with an actual fan base actively purchasing their music and not paying for radio spins every 15 minutes. Brian Rowley wrote a very good article for Forbes titled "BTS didn't cheat their way to number one on the Hot 100. They just beat other artists at their own game." So don't let others guilt you for buying BTS's music. Don't listen to what others say. Stream, stream, stream. Watch their music videos and perform.
This part right
Listen
here
to what others
is
say.
my comeback to
Stream.
and that's steroids. And why I say that a stream is steroids, because for every 1,200 plays, that's an album sale. How the fuck is that an album sale, blood? Like, no. This is where I'm like, we're back into the steroids, because the way that a stream is counted and then the money that a stream generates, like, it's ridiculous. Like, no, like, the system is so corrupt that, like, the steroids are the system. And yes, the fervor in the fan base, stream the fuck out of these boys' music. I have no issue with this. I just also am very aware that that is a corrupt system as well. Fucking streaming a song a certain amount of times turns into a physical album sale. How, blood? It's a stream. Nothing about this is physical. There was nothing physical ever exchanged. But if it gets played enough, you want to allocate a physical number to it that makes it like I sold the vinyl. It's not okay. That's fucking steroids. That's fake as shit. That's why I'm saying that there's still steroids within the system. Though they may not be playing dirty, they are just beating other artists at their own game. That is very true. But that's steroids as well. Like, fuck. I love and hate the fucking music industry. I don't know where I'd be without it, but goddamn it, is it a dirty game. Fucking hell. Or the fact I can't even find out. Like, we know how much a stream, like, I can get paid for it. Can anybody tell you what a stream actually gets Spotify? Because if I go into a restaurant somewhere and I ask them how much this bottle costs them, they could tell me that. If I ask them how much a plate of food costs, not actually what they're charging me for it, but what it costs for them to produce that plate of food, they can do that. Spotify will not tell us that number. And this is where I'm like, that's how I know that the fucking system is fucking really just on steroids. Because we can stream, and then what? They're giving $1 million bonuses to fucking people in offices that wear suits and ties that don't make music. And there's some fucking artists trying to make their fucking living off of fucking streams. And a stream is what? 0.008 cents? Like, it's not even a full penny. It's fucking ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The game is fucked up. The game is fucked up.
Stream. Watch their music videos and performances on official YouTube channels. Buy their songs and albums. It doesn't matter if they are old or new. OG7 group projects with only some members, or solo projects. BTS will remain on top, whether the music industry likes it or not.
I see the way they stay on top is exactly why I'm sitting here watching this video, is the organic nature of how the fucking fan base participates in actually listening to the music. The organic nature of, yes, stream is steroids to me. However, you're not being forced to listen to BTS. You're not being forced to stream. You're not being forced or manipulated to love BTS at that level. It's just natural. You're not being forced to go purchase albums and vinyls and CDs and all these other physical things. You just love them that way. So this is where I'm like, that's how they win. That's how they compete. That's how they stay on top. is there's an actual love for these people that I've not seen. The only thing that I see that BTS has not done, they don't have men and women that are grown-ass adults with bills to pay passing out in the front row of a show. If somebody could show me a video of that, I will begin to allow the Michael Jackson conversation. Because until I see that, I've never seen it before, haven't seen it since. Michael Jackson had grown-ass men and women passing out in the front row of his show just from seeing my guy. Go look at the Dirty Diana music video. There's literally ambulances at the side of the stage because people just keep passing the fuck out. Like, it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. That being said, though, this is the end of the video. I hope you guys understand that when I'm saying that there are steroids in the industry, it's not just for BTS. It is for fucking everybody participating, me, myself included. If I'm doing fucking 20 million streams a month or whatever, I'm participating in a steroids-based system. It's just what it is. That said, though, thank you guys for your time. I have no idea how long this video is, but I appreciate anybody that's going to watch the end of this. I'm happy to have any discussions we have in the comment section. And thank you guys very much for coming along with me on this BTS journey. More BTS content coming. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. I hope you have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are, whenever you watch this. I'll see you on the next one. I'm out of here. Peace.